It's the Takeover. It's the Takeover right here on the award-winning CBJ Radio. We're always bringing you the coolest artists on Wednesday nights, and tonight's no different. New Hampshire punk band Sotah. They're at it again. They just released a brand new single called Division Line on Friday with a big Sotah Goes to the Movies release party at Chunky Movie Theaters in Manchester, New Hampshire. They showed the video, they played an acoustic set, and Division Line also features Mighty Mighty Boss Tones and the Defiant singer Dicky Barrett. It's always a blast to have the one and only Mr. Casey Daron from Sotah on the show. First, Casey, thanks so much for coming back on.
Oh, thank you so much, Jeff. It is seriously such a pleasure to come back to this show. I love it here.
Well, Chunky Movie Theaters, what did they think when you came to them with this idea to have your video release at the movies?
They were very gracious. However, they were a little nervous about having a couple of punk bands play in one of their theaters. So I think there was a little apprehensiveness at very first. But when I sold them on the idea that it would be acoustic and that we'd be doing a fundraiser for various charities, they bought in. And I think that we had a very successful night. And I think they were happy with it.
Yeah, because, I mean, looking at the pictures, this looks like a pretty nice theater.
It is a great theater. It's crazy because it's not your typical, standard movie theater. They have a full menu. They have a full bar. They do events, like they host comedy, stand-up comedy shows, as well as their regular theater programming. So it's a really, state-of-the-art theater. And I said, this would be the perfect place to host our music video premiere party.
Yeah, it looked pretty awesome. You had a couple of bands, played acoustic sets. How long did you play for?
We each played for about 25 minutes, and then we had plenty of guest speakers, and we had a big video presentation. It wasn't just the music video that we showed. There were all sorts of different little video clips, funny ones, serious ones about the charities. So overall, it was just a well-rounded out night.
Yeah, and well, it's always a hard time getting people to come to a concert. Let alone this. You were a little nervous, but congratulations, Casey. You had an awesome turnout.
I did. I tell you, I was very nervous. We planned this over the last two and a half months. And with it being a Friday night, the movie theater said, we're happy to do this, but you need to get us a minimum of 50 people through the door. Just because, they're renting out one of their theaters on primetime movie night. They need to make their return as well. So I was like, okay, yeah. We could probably do that. Here I am, this is a fairly newer band. I'm like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? Scraping to get 50 people to come through. I didn't know. I did everything from, I made like an RSVP list. I'm like, please, like, I want to know how many people are coming. I did not know up until that very day, until the event was going on, how many people showed up. We were expecting 50. We sold out the theater with over 100 people that came. And,
wow.
For a small band like me, doing the local circuit for the past, number of years, that was such a nice reward. And I was so excited to have that full of a house.
Yeah, for sure. So congratulations. Way to go. Everybody was happy. So, a ton of stuff has happened since the last time we talked, Casey. First, you were the bass player in Afterimage. Things were a little strange when we talked last time and we didn't know what was going on. It came out, like in February, but they said as in November of last year, Afterimage announced that they were done. Now you're split into two camps. Can you tell us what happened? What can you say?
Well, it definitely came as a surprise. I did not see the breakup coming. I loved being in Afterimage. I formed that band 8 years ago with my friends in college. And we really made it to great lengths. We started off as a party band at Keene State College, and we really, took things serious, played some great shows, hosted our own shows, put out numerous EPs and a full-length album. And I really don't know what happened. I think that towards the very end, there was I think there was a fear of, my punk career. I never saw it as like I'm starting this punk career to stray away from Afterimage. It was always like, with Sotah, I played maybe 3 shows a year. With Afterimage, we tried to do upwards of 20 shows a year on the local circuit. So it was never something like I was trying to compete with them or anything like that. But I do think that there was a fear with the other band members that I was just going to take up and leave. And I think in their minds, they kind of discussed amongst themselves, well, before he does that, we'll just move on without him. So it was a disappointment for sure. Again, I had no intentions of breaking up the band or doing anything like that. We had an EP that we recorded this past summer that I'm hoping it sees the light of day. I was very excited about that, but at this point, I'm happy for the memories I had with that band. We accomplished a lot, and it's right on to the next thing for me. I have a lot on my plate, and I have a lot that I have in store with Sotah, and that's just kind of where I'm channeling my energy now.
Yeah, well, you even said it. I mean, this was kind of like your punk outlet, because you are a punk rock guy.
Yeah, I definitely find that with my own songwriting, I definitely gravitate towards punk, but I'm also a big metalhead, and I love progressive rock and progressive metal. I grew up on bands like Rush and Yes and Dream Theater. I love Tool. So there was always that outlet with Afterimage where I could channel that energy, and then when I wanted to write my own song, I would turn to Sotah. So it was very nice to have those two avenues. But with Sotah, it's definitely more my place. Now that I kind of write everything with that band, it feels a lot more natural to me. And I think I have a lot more fun now. I think that there's a little less egotism with the style of music I'm playing. I like to be goofy on stage. While the songs are serious, I think there's a little more of a happy atmosphere in my punk and ska shows.
I think you're always having a good time, Casey.
I do. I try to have a silly time. Even in the metal band, I always tried to break those barriers and try to be silly. So it's just my thing.
I mean, it had to hurt your feelings because the other three guys went off and did this, The Forest Forgets. And here you are. I was like, well, what the hell?
Yeah, like I said, I was disappointed to say the least, but I wish them the best. They're doing their own thing. And, I'm kind of completely separated from that camp now. I'm pushing forward, doing my own thing. And I'm trying to spread, love and unity and compassion. And I'm trying to do the best that I can with my new project, Sotah.
Yeah. And it is Sotah. Go check them out. They're on Facebook, Instagram, go to Spotify. The new single, Division Line, featuring Dicky Barrett, is out now. And speaking of Dicky, last time we knew you had something brewing with him, but we really couldn't talk about it. How did this happen? Was this a meet and greet when you met Dicky? I mean, how did this relationship form, Casey?
So about 3 years ago, I released my very first Sotah release, and it was an acoustic cover of the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones' They Will Need Music. I'm in various Facebook groups dedicated to the Boss Tones, fan groups, and I know that a couple of the Boss Tones have poked their heads in there every once in a while. So somehow, some way, the members of the Boss Tones saw that cover that I made. They posted it on their social media accounts. I know now that Dicky was the one who posted that. He really liked the acoustic rendition that I did. And then a few months later, I released my original single, Dying Breath. And out of the blue, I got a text from Dicky saying, nice work on the song. Keep it up. I'll be here to support you. And I know that I have a few close friends, friends of Dicky. So I think that's probably how he got my number. But it really has escalated since there. He started his new band, The Defiant. And he knew that I did some video work. I went to college for film. So he kind of sneakily asked me, he's like, hey, Casey, do you know anybody who does video editing or would be interested in making a lyric video? And I was like, well, that's exactly what I do. Would you like me to do it? So we kind of kept snowballing. I made a couple lyric videos for The Defiant. Then this past fall, Dicky reached out and he asked me to put together a little acoustic show in New Hampshire. So we got a couple of local bands. Dicky flew out from Arizona, and then Johnny Rio of the Street Dogs, also in The Defiant, flew out from Texas, and we did this big little acoustic show in Londonderry, New Hampshire. And it was great. We had a great crowd. I played with Dicky and Johnny. And then from there, a few months later, I get another message from Dicky asking, would you be interested in coming tour with us? Coming on tour with us as our merch guy, roadie, guitar tech, everything guy. Would you want to come out on the road? And I was like, give me a minute to think about it. And 30 seconds later, I was like, 100% I'm in. Like, of course, that's insane. So the past month I've been on the road. I was on the road with the Defiant. They were opening up for this great punk rock cover band called Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. And we did a nice East Coast run. We went up to Canada, went through New England, and made our way down to Florida. It was a great, great series of shows. Over half of them were sold out, playing some really cool, esteemed venues, plenty of House of Blues. And it was just, it was a life-changing experience. It was so very cool.
Yeah. Well, what did work think when you came and told them, hey, I need to be gone for like a month?
Well, they were honestly very cool with it. I am a marketer, which kind of goes hand in hand with everything I do with the music business. And funny enough, I just got switched to remote work the month before the tour started. So I said, I've been presented this opportunity. If I say no to this opportunity, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. What do you think about me doing my work remotely in the van while I'm on tour? And they were very gracious about it. They were very accepting. They're like, yeah, you absolutely have to take this opportunity. So while I was in between slinging merch and, loading instruments into the venues and all that, driving the van, I worked remotely for my little marketing gig. So I stayed very busy this past month. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. We're chatting with Casey from Sotah. Go check them out there on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. The new single, Division Line, featuring Dicky Barrett from Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, and the Defiant is out now. Well, I mean, you mentioned a little bit. This Defiant band is like an all-star band. The drummer's from The Offspring. They got a guy from Smash Mouth, Street Dogs, The Briggs. I mean, the Boss Tones. I mean, just you being associated with Dicky, how much did we learn on this tour?
So Dicky, a few months ago, said to me over the phone, he said, this is going to be your punk rock school. And I think he was being very tongue-in-cheek because honestly, though, it was my punk rock school. The first day I show up to O'Hare in Chicago, I couldn't find Dicky and Joey from the Briggs. They were at some gate, and I was trying to find them, scrambling around. I finally find them after 20 minutes of texting back and forth. And Dicky's first words to me, I haven't seen him in months. He goes, Casey, that's your first demerit.
Yeah. Don't be holding us up, damn it.
Oh my. I learned a crazy deal about life on the road. This was my very first tour. I had never been on the road with any of my bands, Afterimage, Sotah, or otherwise. So it was crazy to me that my first tour, I'm literally with, some of these punk rock legends, like literal royalty in the music scene. And it was great. We did a van tour, and it was funny. I don't know. It was these things that just kind of came innate to me. I never was like, oh, this has been a tough ride. I think that I learned that this is the life for me. I love it. I love being on the road. I love being involved in live music. I met so many great people along the way. That was the biggest takeaway, because, being online most of your life, you see so much hate and negativity that gets thrown everyone's way. Nobody can agree. It's all very, very hostile online. And it's not that way in the real world. I was so taken aback with how loving people are in real life. I went to all these different cities and I met all these different people who knew nothing about the Defiant at first, but over the course of the night, they came back as big fans. And we just had these wonderful conversations, wonderful, happy, I just couldn't believe it. It was night and day. Like, you go online, it's depressing as heck.
Oh, yeah.
You go out in the real world and it's a wonderful world. Not to be cliche, it really is. There is so much love and positivity out there.
Yeah, and the Defiant, if we're really being honest, is the album. Go and check it out. And it was funny because I was reading a bunch of comments about people going to the shows, and you hit it on the head. People had no idea who they were. They kind of knew, but they were huge fans by the time the show was over.
Absolutely. And it's funny because the band really was born out of controversy. The whole message with the Defiant was that they wanted to spread love, compassion, unity, And they wanted to really, they were questioning the government and the government's control over our country. And maybe the government wants the people to be weak. Maybe they want us to be pitted against each other because just maybe that makes the government a little stronger and it gives them more power.
Oh, yeah.
And the Defiant did not like that. And of course, so many things got thrown their way online. Oh, you're conspiracy theorists, all this and that. And that's what was disheartening for me pre-tour. It was like Dicky Barrett has preached love, unity, anti-racism, compassion for the past 40 years. And all these people were slinging hate his way. And I was like, that's really, really sad. But then they go out on stage every night and they had this sing-along song called It Is Over. And it just talks about everything I just said, love and unity and togetherness and rising from the ashes. And it connected with every single audience every night of the tour. They went from starting the song, not knowing a single line. By the end of the song, they were all singing along. And it was just, it was incredible to witness firsthand.
Yeah, I saw that too. That's awesome. And a lot of people said that too. So it had to be just an amazing experience. You were in Atlanta at the Center for Puppetry Arts. You were in heaven, Casey.
I was. Well, for those who don't know, but most people do know because I'm very open about it. I'm a big fan of the Muppets and Jim Henson. And it honestly has been a lifelong dream of mine to go to the Center for Puppetry Arts in Atlanta. I knew that we were going to Atlanta on the tour. And so a few days before we're about to hit Atlanta, I'm like, I wonder how far away from the venue this place is. Maybe I could catch an Uber before the show. I don't know. I'll check it out. So I went on my maps, Google Maps. It was right across the street from the venue. I literally walked right across the street. It was the craziest, most serendipitous thing to happen. So after we set up and before doors open, I went out to the theater. And it was just the coolest experience. And it was so in line with what the tour was. There were so many quotes from Jim Henson and, of course, Muppets everywhere. But there was this one quote that basically Jim said, look out for each other. It's a great world that we're living in. Be there for one another. And that message, I took a picture. I was like, that is what this tour is about. That is what this music is about. That's what my music is about. It's about looking out for one another, rising up together, spreading love, and trying to make the world a better place. And that is exactly what this tour did. And it's really what I'm hoping to do with Sotah going forward.
Yeah. Go check Sotah out there on Facebook, Instagram. The brand new single Division Line featuring Dicky Barrett is out now. We're going to chat about the song, and you're going to hear it here in a second. But first, it's been 2 years already, dude. Congratulations. You've had a girlfriend. You and Tori just celebrated 2 years together.
We did. Yeah. It was too bad. I was on the road on our actual day. But I came back home 2 days later, and we had a great day together in Boston. We went and saw Bad Religion and Social Distortion. It was a wonderful day. It was really awesome.
So she likes punk rock.
I kind of made her like punk rock. She didn't really start out that way. She's more into the whole folk thing. She really likes Hosier, Noah Kahn, but she'll go to a punk show and she'll throw some elbows. She's a tough girl, Tori is.
She'll compromise. So that's a good girlfriend right there.
She's great. She's wonderful. I am very lucky to have her, and she was so supportive. I think most girlfriends at the prospect of having their boyfriend leave for a month without them on the road could be very scary. And she was so strong about it, and she was so supportive. And she was the first one to tell me, you need to do this. Like, you need to go do this because it's going to change your life. So I'm very indebted and thankful to Tori.
Yeah. And like you said, you would have regretted it for the rest of your life if you didn't do it. That's for sure.
Of course.
Well, and it's crazy that your family, you have 4 brothers. Your mom has to deal with 5 boys in the house. And I mean, it was Mother's Day. Did you celebrate? Did you say you're a saint, Mom? What happened?
Yeah, we celebrated. We took her out to eat. Well, 4 of my younger brothers, I was the music guy. The rest of them all do sports. So So we spent the morning up until probably 2 in the afternoon at baseball, as you should on Mother's Day.
Oh yeah.
But then we took her out to eat and took our annual family photo. And it was a really good day. She's a great mom. She's so supportive of my dreams as well. She's always been there for me and really has taught me so much in life. And she has made me into the person I am today. And I think that um, me taking a lot of the opportunities that I have over these past few years have been thanks to her love and support. So she is wonderful.
Yeah, that's awesome. You can't do it without the family. Well, your brother Killian, doesn't he play with you, or he plays the drums, or what?
Yes, he does play bass in Sotah. He started off as a kid. He was all into sports, and then in about second or third grade, he started playing the drums. So he's played the drums now for quite some time, around a decade. And now he plays bass in Sotah, and I played bass in Afterimage.
Yeah.
He's been playing bass for 2 years, and he's already a better bass player than me. Our drummer Johnny likes to make a joke. He's like, I'm the drummer of this band, but I'm not even the best drummer of this band. And I like to say, yeah, and I'm not even the best singer and guitar player of this band. It's Killian.
Oh, that's hilarious. But that's cool. Yeah, because I thought that was him playing bass for you in one of the
Yes.
videos too. So yes, it's a brother combo.
It is. Yeah, very lucky to have him. Like I said, he's a talented kid. He's gonna go far, and he's just one of those guys that he picks up an instrument and he gets it. So I am so lucky to have him in my band because being a punk rock singer and guitarist, I have no clue what I'm doing. So to have somebody who does, it's pretty cool.
Well, and your old man, did he get you into punk? Because your dad's a big punk fan.
Yeah, he got me into all the music I listened to. He was in many bands growing up, everything from metal to 90s alternative and grunge. Played in many bands in high school and college. He was deeply ingrained in the Boston music scene. He was the one that got me into the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. He got me into Rush. All the bands I listened to were thanks to him. So he definitely guided me along that way. He never pushed me into any direction, but I just always worshipped the music that he listened to. And if it weren't for him, I think a lot of these things would not have happened because I still would have been listening to Muppet music if it wasn't for his CD collection, record collection.
You'd be listening to Soundtrack to Garfield. Is what he'd be
Yeah, that's
listening
true.
to. Well, Division Line featuring the one and only Dicky Barrett. I looked in the notes. Did he write this with you?
He didn't write it. So basically, I wrote this song 3 years ago. I wrote it around the time that the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones broke up, and I saw all this hatred being, cast his way, and that got me so frustrated because, like I said earlier, Dicky was a man who promoted so many good values. I have a poster on my wall made by the great artist Nan Coffey, where she has a picture of Dicky, and all around him are lyrics from various songs. And the lyrics are about love, unity, anti-racism, bridging the divide, togetherness. And I remember 3 years ago looking at this poster and then looking at my phone and seeing all these negative comments being thrown his way. And I was like, you guys are forgetting the man. Like, this, Dicky did not change. He has always been the same man promoting the same values. And to see all that hatred was very disheartening. So I said, I'm writing a song about it. I need to channel this energy somewhere. So I wrote the song. I wrote the first two verses and the chorus 3 years ago. This was before I knew Dicky, before we became friends. I always had in mind that I was like, oh, it'd be really cool if I got him to sing on part of it. So last year, there was another school shooting, and that really got me bummed out. And I kind of made this connection where I was like, wow, we have the government who feeds off of the citizens' instability. They feed off of our hatred towards each other and our political division. They love that we're bickering towards each other online. They love that the left hates the right hates the left. And if you are anywhere in between on that spectrum or you don't like either side, then you're an idiot too. And I'm like, it was so frustrating, but it clicked that these people online are arguing about silly things within their own political viewpoints, their own personal politics. And if you don't completely align with them, they fight. So there's all sorts of division online. And then I saw yet another school shooting happening. And it was one of those things where, oh, yeah, another school shooting, on to the next topic. Nobody really talked about it. And I'm like, you guys are letting our own personal politics and bickering get in the way of so many bigger issues. We have kids that are literally dying because we can't get our stuff together. We can't get it together, and we have all these government officials always, issuing their thoughts and prayers every year. Well, we have hundreds and thousands of children dying each year. I have a statistic in the song. In 2023 alone, 43,000 people died due to gun-related deaths. And I'm not a person that thinks, we need to ban all guns. I know that there is a time and place for having a firearm, but something isn't right. Something isn't right here. There's something going wrong. Why are we having these many deaths and these many mass shootings every year while other countries, it's non-existent? There's something going wrong, and we need to figure it out. And the only way to do that is through spreading love and, uniting. We have differences. Every single person in this world is going to have differences. So long as you are not harming another person or actively trying to put down somebody, we should be able to put aside our differences, and we should be able to come together as one and figure out the problems in our country. And that is a major one that has been plaguing the nation for far too long. So that's kind of where the song came about. And as Dicky and I became closer, I asked him if he'd be interested in singing on the song, and he agreed. And here it is, 3 years later, 3 years of hard work.
Wow.
I'm so proud of what we've put out.
It's amazing. I mean, so how long has the song been done?
We finished the song probably around October. It's funny, it was right around that time where Afterimage was kind of dissolving. This was kind of finishing up. So after Afterimage was done, my next big thing was getting this video out, putting it together, making sure I had a nice release for it. And that's why we did the Sotah Goes to the Movies. That was a long time dream of mine to premiere a music video in such a fashion. So I spent the months after the Afterimage breakup just channeling my energy into Sotah and saying, how can I make this band the next big thing?
Yeah, well, you did an amazing job, so congratulations. And the video is just stellar. How long did it take you to do this thing?
Oh, thank you so much. I hate to spoil the secrets of this, let you see the inside of the sausage, but everything was shot. All of our, the band footage was shot on an iPhone, and I just layered it up with effects and graphics. I used a lot of stock footage, got the rights to all that. So I'm one of those workers where if I'm passionate about a project, I will get it done I will just push through. This was a long project. It probably took me about 2 weeks to finish everything, but we did 1 day of filming just on, like I said, on the iPhones. While I was on tour with the Defiant, we filmed Dicky's parts for the video in our hotel room. So I did it in stages, but all in all, it probably took about 2 weeks' time to finish the whole video.
Wow, that's amazing. And yeah, it's incredible because it's a video and a lyric video. It's got a message. It's got clips. This song has everything. Division Line featuring Dicky Barrett. Go check him out. Sotah. He's on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. The Love Hate EP is out. You can go listen to that. So, what's next now? How do you top this?
That's the question. We have some shows planned. We have 2 shows this summer that have not been announced yet that we will be performing. One's going to be an acoustic set. One's going to be a full band set. But I have a lot on the way. I have probably 15 songs ready to be demoed out for a full-length album. I have a couple standalone singles that I'm hoping to release either late this year or early next year. I'm looking at having a producer for these upcoming songs. I've never worked with a producer. It's always been self-produced. which is great, but it has its limitations. So for this next wave of music, I'm definitely looking into getting somebody in the professional world to get this, this music sounding better, bigger than ever before. And I have a couple leads on people that I've talked to, very well up in the music industry that are very interested in helping produce my music. So I'm very excited. There's so much on the way. And, with a full length EP, full length LP, you're definitely going to see a big rollout. Division Line had a nice big rollout, but I have a lot of ideas in my head, and it will come in time. We're gonna, I have a lot of hard work ahead of me, but it's going to pay off. I have a lot in store.
Well, I mean, this is just huge to have Dicky's name associated with Sotah. You being on tour with the guys. I mean, the relationships, that's half of the business, is who you know.
It is. And every single member of the Defiant, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, the crew, the roadies, they were all so kind. So we became a big family. We got to know each other very well. And they were all so gracious and just willing to help with anything I needed. So it was one of those things where you always hear that the music industry can be very vicious. But I entered an avenue of the business that is so welcoming and kind and ready to give back that I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. That's all I have to say. I think that the road ahead is very bright.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I saw a quote, I can't remember how it goes. It was like, rock stars are very nice people that try to act mean, and like politicians are very mean people that try to act nice, or it was something like that. And it is so true. I mean, it's so true.
It is true. If this tour has taught me anything, it's exactly that.
Yeah. And I've interviewed people that if you walked past them in a alley, you'd run the other way. And then after I talked to them for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, it's like they are totally the different person that you could even imagined by meeting him. And I mean, Dicky probably gets half of it because the way he looks or what he's, whatever, but it's just, it's crazy. But go and check him out. Sotah, it's Sotah, Division Line featuring Dicky Barrett is out now, and go check out the Defiant. If We're Really Being Honest is their album that's also out now. Division Line by Sotah. Casey, it's always great to talk to you.
It's such a pleasure to be on this show. You do a really good job. Thank you for having me.
It's Sotah. It's Division Line. It's the Takeover. CBJRadio.com.